First of all, a very personal thank you to all the panel members for your patience, for the delay and the continuous change in the timing of our panel. So thank you so much. It's a very interesting panel, but unfortunately, we have been asked to cut our panel discussion by 5 minutes because apparently everyone knows a lot about AI. So we will cut the chase and get to it. I think we are at a very exciting time in the marketing history, and we all know it's because of AI, right? Now, the way AI has infiltrated into our lives is very different from what we have seen in the past. It's very different from all the technologies that we have seen in the past. Probably the only parallel would be the internet, because this is for the first time that a technology is in the hands of everyone. Now, anyone can access and use AI because it's available in your phone. You can log in and start using AI, be it ChatGPT, be it Copilot, Gemini, whatever, right? So this technology would have a very different impact on how we do our day-to-day work. Now, if we take a step back and look at how we have reached here, I want you to go back to 95, right? So if you look at that decade from 95, now I call it the connection era. This is where internet came and companies started putting together their websites, email. It was all about getting the connectivity done, right? And we saw some interesting designations and profiles coming out. CIOs, CTOs. Move 10 years forward, 2005, and that is what I call the mobile and social era, right? And this is all about creating those mobile-first experiences, making sure that we are always connected, and it was becoming like a new normal. And again, we see a new set of expertise coming up. We had chief experience officers, chief digital officers, chief transformation officers, and you move 10 years forward, and this is what we call the intelligence era. Come 2018, GPT was launched, and things have never been the same since then. If I look back 2 years, MMA Impact Forum, there was not a single session on AI. And today, I'm sure there would not have been a single session where the word AI was not used. So definitely, this is a lot more different from what it was with any of the previous waves that we have seen, right? Now, are we going to see the rise of chief AI officers? Maybe or maybe not. And that is what today we are going to discuss with this panel to understand what are the skill sets required and what are the challenges that these marketers are seeing on a day-to-day basis when they work on their marketing strategies. But before we start that, I would like to start the questions with a video and then ask the panel members to answer the questions one by one. We have 3 different themes of the questions. The first theme is all about how do we implement AI in marketing strategies. Second theme is about measurement. And the last, we would talk about what are the skill sets required to excel in this day and age, right? So may I have the video on?
We made this ad with AI and even
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares that you use AI.
We get it.
you used AI.
We just care if it works.
If it disrupts
Or comforts.
or makes a user dramatically cry. Oh, I love this. Did they use AI?
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
AI built this spot.
Just make it work fast and I'll give it a shot.
Your boss doesn't care. An ad was made with AI.
That's TMI.
She just wants ROI. Like a pen or a brush, AI is only a tool.
So don't brag like a pro if you
Front like a fool.
Just show what you did.
Beyond that, nobody cares.
Nobody cares that you use AI. They care about the results. For the best ones, hire Fiverr experts who've mastered every digital skill, including AI. Oh, by the way, did we mention this ad was made with AI?
Nobody cares.
So for those who are not familiar, Fiverr is a platform where you can hire freelancers to use for different marketing assignments. So Berto, does anyone care if it is AI or not? Do you think that we as marketers are moving to a future where AI could conceptualize the whole advertising, the whole communication? Or do you think that the human creativity will still be at the core of every idea that we generate?
So after you showed that video, that's quite a tough answer to give. I think, yes, nobody cares. And I can guarantee you, though, that ad might have been made with AI, but someone wrote a brief for it, right? And someone probably wrote a script for it, and then used AI as a tool to create that video. And I think that's the role of the marketeer still. It's not about using AI to create the campaigns. It's really about understanding, going back to the fundamentals of marketing, right? Who's your target consumer? What can your brand offer them? What is unique and differentiated about your brand? What can your brand do to alleviate their pain points? Where are they shopping? Where are they watching, consuming media, etc.? And then creating a campaign and creating a brief to address those needs. Now, what's important here, I think, is that AI is a very, very valuable tool in that process. It's not the only tool, but it's becoming more and more important. And I think where AI plays a very important role in media and in creative is that it allows us to create creative and assets at scale in a hyper-personalized way, and then allows us also to address and find consumers in a hyper-segmented way. Now, that sounds very technical and jargony, but maybe I should use an example to bring it to life. One of our brands here in Indonesia, Sunlight. I'm relatively new, by the way. I've only been here for 2 months, so please be kind to me. Sunlight is one of the brands that we have here that ran a campaign during Ramadan. It's a dishwash brand. And I'm sure everyone recognizes the insight that during Ramadan, people cook and eat and celebrate as a family. But what do you do once you've cooked and celebrated? You have to do the dishes, right? And so the Sunlight team came up with that idea and or recognized that idea and came up with a creative campaign where they said, actually what we want to do is we want to target consumers who are cooking and looking for recipes and then target them to help them do their dishes faster and better. So the team went for one day, did a shoot with a famous celeb here in Indonesia. And in one day, they basically created 100 assets. And what they did is they then went and found consumers who were looking for recipes. So for example, I'm preparing for a meal. I search how to make beef rendang or how to make nasi goreng. The ad pops up and says, hey, you're making nasi goreng. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it, but afterwards, you need to wash your dishes. Why don't you use Sunlight to wash your dishes for the nasi goreng? And we used AI to create about 100 different ads from one shoot that was hyper-personalized and could actually address the needs of what the consumers were looking for. So I think, you still have an important role for the brand manager, for the marketing team, for creative and so on, but AI can help you enhance your role and as one of the tools that we can use as marketeers to be more successful. So yes, I think there is still a role for creativity in marketing, and I think AI will help enhance that as well.
So Ruli, Berto thinks it's a tool for personalization at scale. And I'm sure there would be a lot of examples in your day-to-day work as well, like how you have integrated AI into the strategies. So any recommendations to the team that have not used AI so far or are thinking of or playing with the idea of using AI in their marketing campaigns, how to go about it? What sort of advice or tips you would give in order to make the best out of this tool?
Yeah, thank you. I'm actually also
new to the role that I'm currently in right now. Yeah. Previously, I was 20 years in agency side, and
Really,
8 months.
we all are new in this AI space.
Yeah.
It's only 3-4 years old, so
Yeah. So actually, for the case of AI, one of our agencies actually proposing using AI as things to spice up the campaign. So it's actually quite predictable, knowing that AI is here and there. But then again, the way I actually see the proposal is actually that despite having potential for it as a gimmick, yeah, and the potential to engage with audience. But then again, we do as a digital bank have a homework, yeah, in order to be able to relate to our diverse segments. So what we're doing back then is actually putting the case of using AI into the case of creating relatability for the product in the life of our consumers, and to be able to earn stickiness for the brand. And we actually still in a very, preliminary stage in implementing that campaign. Yeah. We're not even go to, towards implementing campaign using rolling out with AI just yet. It will come to that stage, yeah. But already inside there are already questions regarding the use of AI in campaigns. So I think what needs to be aware, yeah, is actually having a broader awareness regarding the use of AI. So instead of seeing as things to spice up the campaign and only relevant to marketing, but it's also raising questions, yeah, to other functions within the broad business, yeah, within the company. So the team would need to be able to address those questions, yeah, and to have a to have a broader understanding regarding how to relate the use of AI, yeah, not only for campaigns, in order to be able to, explain it, to be able to make it connected with larger purpose of other functions outside of market.
So focus on a use case, understand, test, and then see the impact of it. So, Meyrick, maybe quickly in one line, like when people talk to you, your advertisers, your clients talk to you, how do you recommend to them on integrating AI into outdoor strategies and execution?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in our case, when people do speak to us in regards to AI, incorporating it in the out-of-home strategies, it depends on which sector and which category the products are from, because they have different needs from that sense. Specific sectors have more needs with AIs built in, and some don't. But we do see some recurring themes with CMOs and brand managers trying to integrate programmatic digital out-of-home specifically with using AI technology and building that within their campaigns. I think one of the challenges that all brands across that's sector agnostic would be the implementation of AI. And the key takeaway that I think we've gathered from our conversations with the brands and the implementation is to build within our marketing teams the basic understanding of AI, right? Like, where does it sort of fit within the business processes? Where does it sort of fit within the organizational structure? And what's a specific function that AI is to use? And what's the role of the AI within that campaign has to be very well defined in the beginning. That's what we find. There's many use cases, I think, that has helped our sector specifically using AI and the developments thereof. In large part, it was within the measurement part, right? Because out-of-home 10, 20 years ago was a lot more difficult to measure than out-of-home media is today. And AI has certainly contributed into how it's making our sector a lot more measurable. A lot of the measurement capabilities that out-of-home has, for example, utilize AI. And it's just because the human brain or the human Excel is not able to previously process billions of data points and amalgamate all that data and come out with actionable actions from there. And now with AI, we're able to process billions of POIs across different geographies. We're able to also measure traffic in real time. I think we may have a slide that demonstrates one of the capabilities.
Can you have the slide, please?
Show. Yeah. And we're also able to do a lot more contextual advertising, right? So one of the innovations in our sector recently is the use of AI to measure at home. So what you guys see on the big screen, that's basically a CCTV camera that's AI enabled that measures in real time how many buses, how many people, how many motorcycles pass by in real time that passes by. And from there, it's able to generate a unique impressions count. So without AI, this would not have been possible as it was the case, 10 years ago with an at home. But I think AI certainly has helped in developing this technology and making the media more just in terms of the measurability of the sector in its all. But we are also seeing a lot of use cases in AI within the programmatic digital out-of-home. So a lot of the brands, it's all about contextual advertising, because if you think about it, the job of the marketer is to create these memorable experiences with their audience and engage with them, right? And oftentimes, a tactic that we use with an out-of-home is contextual advertising, the right time, right place sort of ordeal. So AI certainly helps in enabling that facility within out-of-home. So for example, we have a pharmaceutical brand that wants that when it's weather triggered, when it rains, it builds into the algorithm, it'll show on the digital screen a version, hey, it's time to buy the flu medicine because it's rainy season, for example, right? Or when it's super hot, hey, it's time to buy ice cream, and the ice cream ads will pop up. So I think there's a lot of use cases that we see across different sectors, and it's building more. And a lot of it wouldn't have been able to have developed without AI.
Right. So this is a very interesting use of AI in measuring the ROI of outdoor campaigns, right? Berto, but if you look at the current landscape and you have done AI-driven campaigns, what are the challenges in measuring the ROI? Do you think there is a specific gap when it comes to executing using AI, or the current tools and methodology is good enough to measure the ROI for all AI campaigns?
I'll try and keep the answer short. I don't think we quite know how to measure everything yet. From a brand perspective, I think there's quite a bit of attribution complexity. We know that the journey of consumers through different touch points, they touch or they come into contact with AI across multiple touch points, and it's difficult to measure that, to track that. I think the other one is data availability and quality. A lot of the data sits behind walled gardens, which is difficult for us to get access to. And then there's other lots of complexities around that, but those are the key ones. And then obviously, how do you get around that? It's all about setting the KPIs, about tracking, about setting the campaign objectives, seeing whether you meet them, working with your partners, working with your media agencies to put in place tracking mechanisms and data tracking mechanisms. So I don't think we're there yet. I think there's a lot of work to be done, and I think it's something that needs to be done collaboratively between brand owners and the industry as well.
So, Ruli, Berto thinks there's a gap in terms of measuring the ROI. Now, when you go and try to sell AI campaigns to your stakeholders, to the management, right? How would you justify an investment into an AI campaign? Or how would you sell the idea to the management and justify that, okay, it's worth trying it out? or what tips you would give to people as to what approach to take to justify those investments?
Yeah. Actually, in order to be able to gain their trust and their support, is to put the case of the use of AI in a broader business case. Yeah. So it's not exactly we come up to the management and say, "Hi, we're going to use AI because it's going to have this and that benefit for relatability and things like that." But to be able to convince them is actually knowing in a bigger picture of the business how the use of AI in our campaign is actually going to be able to push the business forward. Yeah. So and one other thing is that is also quite important is to be able to realize that the noisiness of the word AI itself, yeah, and it's everywhere, yeah. It's actually making it easy for people outside of that circle, to see it as a hype or a fad, yeah. So we need to be able to kind of balance, yeah, the potential of AI, but also being able to communicate how we're going to have how do you say it, a kind of like pros and cons, yeah, and opportunities, and also perhaps the downside of using AI in order to be able to give a realistic picture of how AI implementation we're going to help the business in overall. So having a comprehensive look of how the use of AI going to propel the business is actually the most important thing when it comes to the perspective of the management.
So our time is up. So maybe the last question, right? And in 2 words, if you have to give advice to the marketeers here to upskill their teams, to prepare them for the AI era, what should they do? The 1 or 2 things you think would help them the most? Berto, with you.
Look outside, get inspiration, speak to your media partners, look at what other brands are doing, look at case studies, attend events like this, because this is where we learn, right? And AI is complex, it's new, no one really understands it, we're getting to grips with it. And the more we're exposed to it, the more we'll learn. So my advice would be open and be curious. That's what marketeers do, right? We're curious. So be curious.
Ruli?
Actually, we need to have a balance, yeah. Not only thinking about the technical aspect of being able to use AI as a tool, but also we need to be able to occupy ourselves with more, how do you say it, soft skill, yeah. To sharpen our human intuition, understanding of insights, and also the emotional intelligence, yeah, in order to be able to use AI, but still not losing the sense of humanity in, rolling out the technology. Yeah.
Right. Meyrick?
I think if we're to sum it up in 2 sets of words instead of 2 words, Yasir, maybe it'd be, understanding roles and data literacy, right? So understanding roles in the sense that these machines are not controlling us. As Berto mentioned, as Ruli mentioned as well, they're there to help us as tools, and we still dictate the human element and human touch, and we still set the direction. And for our team members to understand their role within that process, right, upon the campaign's implementation. And secondly is data literacy, in the sense that we really need to be training our teams, because the technology is changing monthly. There's always some new app with creative capabilities or measurement or targeting capabilities out there. And I think as marketers, it's becoming more and more challenging to keep up with all the new technology, which if we do, by the way, would help us and do our jobs a lot faster and more efficiently.
Great. So I think we'll end this panel. At the end, I would just say that it's not about perfection, how perfectly you're doing AI. It's about the speed at which you are learning and improving and adopting AI, right? The question is no more about whether AI or not. It's how fast you move along this adoption curve. With that, thank you so much. Thank you to the panel, and hope all of you got something out of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the sharing session. So before we wrap up for the session, we'd like to invite the speakers and moderator for a quick photo opportunity to capture this moment. If I could kindly ask all of you to come forward for a few shots. In the count of 3, 1, 2, and 3.